In this video, I'm going to show you the best full body tracking for dancing, fighting, and just hanging out with your friends. And I'm also going to show you the best straps to use to wear them. Alright, let's talk about the Tundras. Tundras are small. They're like really, really small. They're smaller than like a AA battery, like lengthwise. And they're really light. They have a 9.5 hour battery life, which is kind of weird for me because like I would like it to be on a rhythm with like my controllers, but I end up like my controllers die like twice before I can recharge my trackers. So I don't know. And probably the best thing about Tundras is that you can get like multiple of the Tundra Trackers on one dongle. Now, Tundra Trackers are my first tracker, so this is normal for me, but apparently for everyone else, like the Vive Trackers, you need one dongle for one tracker. So you need to have a bunch of fucking USB ports open. One of my friends, he has like 11-point tracking, so I'm like, how does that work? He just has like 11 USB ports plugging in all that shit. And the thing with the Vive dongles is you have to space them out, because if they're too close, they will interfere with each other. So that is also kind of inconvenient. Well, I thought it was inconvenient. I don't know for sure. So yeah, I got full body tracking with base stations a couple months ago, and when I was deciding between Vive and Tundra, that is the major reason I went for Tundra. Because you only need one USB dongle, whereas the Vive, you need one for each tracker. So, yeah. And also coming from the Haritora wired, I knew that I had to have a hip tracker and a waist tracker. I cannot live without both. So yeah, I don't want to have 4 dongles. I would rather have 1 dongle. So that's why I really like the Tundra. And the tracking is obviously amazing. The tracking is rated at 1mm accuracy. It's 1mm from where it actually is in real life, translating to the game. So that's pretty good. And also, it's very, very easy to mount because not only does it have the 1/4-inch mount on the bottom, so anything with a 1/4-inch screw, such as like a lot of camera gear, you can just like screw it on. But also, they sell a base plate on the website, and the base plate, you switch it on with the default one, and it has like, it's like a belt buckle, right? It's literally a belt buckle. So you can put all sorts of strings, you can put laces, you can put whatever you can think of. You can just shove it under, you can shove it under or in between that hole and attach to anything. Now, for me personally, I bought, what is it? Like specifically for VR, I bought Adidas Ultra Boost. I think they're called that. Adidas Ultra Boost. And I bought it on Black Friday. And I'll show you guys a picture when the actual video is up, but like I just tied my shoelaces into it. And when I want to play VR, I don't have to like put on any straps or Velcro. I just put on my shoes. And they're really, really comfortable because they're Ultra Boosts. So yeah, I feel sorry for the people who are like using whatever Velcro straps for their feet, because, you know, imagine standing on your bare feet for a long time. You're gonna hurt yourself. And also like the Velcro nylon stuff, it's not comfortable. And I don't know, you're really stupid if you're using like if you're not using sneakers. I would say it. You are kind of stupid if you're not attaching your trackers to sneakers or Crocs or something else comfortable. Now the cons. Let's talk about cons for a Tundra. It's not perfect. The cons is, okay, so I read this online in the reviews. I didn't really believe it. They said that it occludes easier because it's smaller and the shape is not as defined or unique as the Vive tracker. They say it occludes more easily, and I didn't believe them. I said, whatever. You just bought Vive trackers, and now you have like what is it, sunk cost fallacy, and whoever gets the Tundra, which is better than Vive, you're gonna get mad at them and flame them. That's what I thought. I thought they were just like what, sour grapes. So I thought it was just like sour grapes, but no, it's true. Like the Tundras, they occlude kind of easily. Like if you're turning your body or if you're bending forward, like, you know, your body tracking is gonna like mess up for like a second. That's just how it is. And it kind of makes me wish that at least for the parts of my body that I'm like bending a lot, for example, hips, I kind of wish I had a Vive tracker instead, because it's just so much bigger, and it has 3 prongs, whereas the Tundra has 1 prong. Yeah, I kind of wish I had the Vive tracker for my hip. But anyway, I don't know. I think if you're just like sitting around relaxing, it might not be that big of a problem. But yeah, if you're like me, you're like really active, you're moving around a lot. You're also like switching between sitting and laying and standing a lot. I don't know. I'm just really active in VR. So the occlusion is not a meme. It is a definite downside of the Tundra. So yeah, smaller and lighter is not always better. So the price is $400 minimum, and that's for 3 trackers, meaning for your hips and your 2 feet. and you get the dongle as well. It's $400. So yeah, not exactly cheap, and it's kind of funny. You think about like playing VRChat is a free game, except you need a $300 Quest 2, and you need a $400 tracking device, and then you need to buy avatars or whatever. Yeah, and some people need to buy the router for VRChat. Yeah. Anyway, for the way I see it, Tundra Trackers are worth it for $400. But I guess for some of you guys out there, uh, maybe you live in third world countries, which is fine. Maybe you don't have a job, which is fine if you're a kid. I think, yeah, maybe $400 that you reach. Oh, also, it's not just $400. You need base stations, okay? A base station is what, 150 each? I don't know. It's a lot of money. So yeah, it's like minimum 700. So I understand why people do not buy Tundras. IDC asks, how many points of tracking do you have? I have 7 points. So that's my headset and my 2 controllers. And then I have hips, waist, and 2 feet. So yeah. And I don't know. Like I said, I like to do like body acting, and I also like to do dancing. I don't know. It's just much better to have waist and chest together. But, technically, if you're just like sitting around hanging out, you don't need a waist. You just need the hips and the 2 feet. So yeah. So you only need 3 trackers, and 3 times 130 each. That's only $400. Only $400 for the most basic full body tracking. What a deal. I love my Tundras. I use them every single day. Without a doubt, I cannot live without my Tundras. But you do need base stations, which is another like 150. Or I don't know. It's like you can't buy base stations alone. You have to get like a index as well, right? So it's like $1,000 actually or whatever. So yeah. And also they occlude easily. So it's going down to A tier. Sorry, Tundra. I love you, but I can't put you in S. Okay, next let's talk about the Vive. The Vive is, I would say it's significantly bigger than the Tundra. And I would say it's heavier than Tundra as well, although I don't consider that much that. It's not that big of a deal. I think the size could be a big deal maybe, but the weight is not really. It's going from like feather light to like slightly less feather light. Doesn't matter. And it has 7.5 hours of battery life compared to, 9.5 of the Tundra. So you're losing 2 hours of battery life. But I think it's fine. Like, I always play VRChat next to my USB charging hub. So like, I don't know. There's never a time when I'm like, oh my god, 7.5 hours have passed. I'm out of juice, And also the thing about all trackers is that you can use them while they're charging. So I don't consider like long battery life to be like a pro, you know what I mean? Like, well, you're in your room anyway. You're next to your outlet anyway. And here's a super big pro of the Vive trackers that no one really knows about. No one talks about this. Only I talk about this. So you better be happy that you're subscribed to Sid. And if you're not subscribed to Sid from VRChat, what are you doing? Subscribe to me and buy from my Amazon links. So the best thing about Vive is that you can find them in like sets on eBay for cheap. On eBay, Mercari, like whatever. People sell them in like sets of 3 for cheap. They just want to get rid of them. And some electronic stores, they sell them like used or open box for cheaper. Now, Tundras, I have rarely seen Tundras sold as a set used. And they definitely are not sold in stores as open box. So if you want to get all the functions of full body tracking, the same full body tracking as Tundra, the same full body tracking as a new Vive, then you can buy Vives for used in a set. And I think that's a really cool. That's a really good value proposition, because we're in inflation. Life is really hard right now. Let me know in chat. Hey, chat, if you're having a rough time in life right now and money's tight, give me an F in chat. Drop that F in chat. So, cons are bigger, which can be a problem if you put it in a weird place. It might like poke your stomach. It's heavier, which is not a big problem. And the biggest con is you need 1 dongle for each device. So 3 devices minimum for full body tracking. They each come with their own like hub and dongle, and you need to space them out so they don't interfere. And if you're like me and you can't live without 4 dongles, you need to have 4 dongles spaced out. And maybe if you're a dancer, maybe if you you're coming into VRChat, but you were a dancer in real life, well, you might need more. You might need, let me count, 6, 8, 9. You're gonna need a lot. You're gonna need a lot of Vive Tracker dongles if you're gonna be a dancer. So in that case, I think that Tundra would be a better idea. But yeah. Also, in this case, bigger is a pro. If you haven't seen the pictures, I'll put the pictures up later. But Tundra is like a little fucking like coin with like a little point of it sticking up, right? It's like a coin with like a point sticking up. And then Vive, in comparison to a Tundra, Vive is like a fucking hockey puck. And it's like has 3 big points, right? It's like a hockey puck and like a crown combined. So it's very easy for the base station to detect it, or rather, it's very easy to pick up the base station sensors because it's so big and it has such a unique shape with prongs sticking up. It's very easy for your computer to locate it. And yeah, I kind of wish I had at least one Vive tracker right now. And the price is $400 for a 3-set new. And of course, you need base stations and you need a Valve Index or another compatible headset. And you also need an electric screwdriver to install your base stations. Yep. When I bought my Index and my Tundra Trackers, I also had to buy an electric drill to drill into my wall. So the costs do add up. Byron Harris says he uses a hub for 4X dongles, and he uses 2 Watchman dongles, whatever the hell that is. And it works sometimes. Yeah, okay, so that's the thing. Like it's like iffy using all these multiple dongles. But I'm glad to hear that it does work with a USB hub. So, you know, if you guys are listening, maybe you can use them with a USB hub. Non-Pondo says he sold his Vive trackers because his wife threatened him. What the hell? Yeah, Brick Wallerson says tripods. Yeah, if your room is big enough, you can put your base stations on top of tripods. But, you know, not all of us can put up tripods. I just drilled into my wall. Byron says, Vive trackers have Pogo Bogo pins for expanding battery life. I don't know what the hell a Pogo Bogo Voodoo Muju pin is. But if it's like a battery pack, then yes. Many people, they attach battery packs to their trackers. By the way, Vive is also A tier. Because Vive is the same thing as Tundra, basically. So I'm going to tell you about the straps when I actually make the video. But some people, they recommend like the EOZ straps. They're called the EOZ straps. And they're like, they're the best in the industry. And they do seem pretty good. They are expensive as well, I guess. Because they're the best, they have to be expensive, right? So people recommend EOZ stuff. And I considered it, but I was like, no. I'm too smart to buy really expensive stuff. I'm always about saving money. So I'm too smart to waste money. So I looked on Amazon for like other straps, like not EOZ, but like whatever no-name Chinese stuff. And then that seemed okay. And if people are starting out, I would recommend to buy the Amazon stuff. And here's my reasoning. Like, a strap is not like high technology. Do you understand? Like EOZ is charging a lot of money for their stuff, and you know, I bet it's good quality. But a strap is not high technology. It's just like some fabric, and it has a screw in it that you screw your tracker onto, right? It's quite literally just a strip of cloth with a fucking screw in the middle. So that's what I'm thinking. Like, if you guys are wondering, do you need the recommended on Reddit EOZ straps or not? I would say the Amazon straps will do fine. And if you want if you want to know what I'm using a GoPro mount for my chest. So I literally I Velcroed a tracker to a GoPro mount for my chest. So yeah, a GoPro mount is like what, $8, $7. And then for my waist, I have a literal fucking belt. I have a belt and I drove a screw through it. I'll show you guys a picture when the video's up. I literally drove a screw through a belt, and it works perfectly. And it never moves, it never slides, and I can even like adjust it freely. I don't know, right? I didn't need to buy like the EOZ special, like, you know, nylon belt. I just got a like a $5 belt. I drove a screw to that sucker, and it works fine. It's my daily driver. And for my feet, I didn't get those like fancy, like, you know, they go over your ankles, they have elastic bands, whatever. I just tied them into my shoes with my shoelaces, and the shoelaces came free with my shoes, in case you were wondering. So yeah, that's just my short discussion, my short rant about like mounting full body tracking to your body. Like, it doesn't need to be so complicated, and it doesn't need to like break the bank. Like I literally drove a screw through a belt, and it's like fine. Ooh, I love this one. This is the Haritora Wired. Oh, are you? Oh, fuck! I spoiled it. I spoiled it. Oh, this is in D tier. This is in D tier, bros. I didn't spoil it. So if you're coming from base stations and you're wondering how Haritora and Slime work, I think that they are satisfactory, right? Like considering they are completely blind systems, meaning they can't see anything. They're just working on, they can just detect themselves, and they detect their own acceleration and their own rotation. And that's it. Completely closed system. Now, considering that, I think the tracking is satisfactory. It's not millimeter precision like Tundra and Vive, but it's fine. And it has a 10-hour long battery life, which is pretty cool. It has good software. The software is pretty easy to use. You just they made it brain dead. Like all the buttons are really big. It's like Fisher Price, like for little kids. Every button's really big. It's self-explanatory. I'm a fan of the software, and it uses Bluetooth. So I was able to use it with my laptop, like just my regular laptop Bluetooth. I was able to connect it. No, wasn't fussy at all. And it's always in stock, which is, you can't say that the other IMU tracker, the Slime VR, you can't say that one's in stock, but Haritora Wired is always in stock. So in my opinion, that's a huge point in the Haritora's court. And for me personally, I did buy the hip tracker. I bought all the expansions actually, and the hip tracker was an extra $50, and I'm really satisfied. Whenever I do VRChat dancing, I always have my chest tracker and my hip tracker, and I do my dancing. I do it downstairs in the living room where there's no base stations, and it all works fine for me. But just a point to bring up, when you add more IMUs into the system, the drifting gets much faster, right? So yeah, just something to know. Also, the Haritora Wired, it's not a 3-point system like Tundra and like Tundra and Vive. It's not 3 points. It's 5 points. It's chest, knees, and feet. Yeah, or more accurately, chest, thighs, and ankles. So yeah. Whereas Vive and Tundra, it's just hips and feet for the basic set. So something to think about. Anyway, let's talk about the cons of the Haritora Wired. It drifts. Like the Tundra and the Vive, you can absolutely just like initialize it when you first load into VRChat, and then you don't touch it for the rest of the session. For the next couple hours, you just never ever touch it. But the Haritora, and also anything using IMU, over a couple times per hour, it will just like go crazy. It will basically like leave your body. It won't match your body at all, right? Like even though you're standing perfectly still and facing forward, it'll show your body is like twisted to the left, like 130 degrees, something like that. And that happens multiple times per hour. And luckily, to fix that, you just do a quick calibrate. You pull the trigger 5 times, and then you hold like a pose, and then that's all it takes to recalibrate, and then you're fine again. So yeah. So to give you an idea of how long that takes, let me imitate it. So click, 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 done. Okay, so that's how long it takes to recalibrate, and you've got to do that a couple times an hour. So not bad, right? And another con is that the Haritora Wired, I found it very hard to wear, right? Like, I used to not have a choice, so I just kind of dealt with it. But there were times when, like, I just wouldn't get into full body tracking because, like, the fucking Velcro is, like, really hard to put on. I don't know. It's a very, like, hacked together system of the Haritora X, of the Haritora Wired. And this is in comparison to the Tundra and Vive, where Tundra and Vive, like, it's so easy to put on. Like, I'm so, like, happy and motivated to go into full body tracking every single day, right? It's just so easy to put on. But the Haritora, it's a bit of a struggle to put on, so some days I just didn't do it. Another con is the elbow trackers are really, really bad. I spent $100 extra on elbow trackers. They're dog shit, so don't buy them. And that's basically it. So for the price, for $300, tax included, I think it's a great choice. Especially if you are a Quest player and you don't have base stations. Like, it's kind of a no-brainer, right? I think that it's kind of a no-brainer to get the Haritora wired if you're interested in full body tracking at all, and you can't get a slime. All right, next is Slime VR. Oh, we got a question? Jesse says, what are my thoughts on the Quest 3? I think the Quest 3, I think it's great. Now, obviously, the price, it's almost double of the Quest 2. But I think that inflation is a thing, right? So $300 back then is not the same as $300 now. So $500 is not like so bad, right? And it has the pancake lenses, which are a huge boost over the Fresnel lenses of the Quest 2. I think lenses are so understated. Like, they're so important. And like Quest 2 and Index lenses are such dog shit that I think that going into pancake lenses, like on the Quest 3, I don't know, it's worth the upgrade. Quest 3 is also smaller. Like, I don't know, what's there to complain about? And it has virtual desktop if you don't like the AirLink. I don't know. What's so bad about Quest 3? Besides the fact that Mark Zuckerberg is watching you do you-know-what. Who cares? Let him watch. Let him watch. Oh, Haritora wired is, what is it? Yeah, it goes into B tier. I know, I love virtual desktop. Let's talk about Slime VR, which I don't own. But I've heard much about it, and I've seen it in action. So Slime VR, like the Haritora, it has satisfactory tracking, right? It is, if you guys are wondering, it's nowhere near as good as a Tundra or Vive. It is not comparable to the Tundra or Vive, but that's fine because it's cheaper, it doesn't need base stations, and it's working in a blind system. All it can see and feel is itself and its own rotation and its own acceleration and stuff. And when you think about that, like, wow, it's like a marvel of engineering. It's like the most amazing technology ever in that it can just track itself and then it gives you a whole full body moving experience. Wow. Technology is kind of amazing. Anyway, they say slimes have a 15-hour battery life, which is kind of crazy. Like, I don't know. Tundras have 9, which is like good, and Haritora wired has 10, which is like better, and slimes have 15. Is this true? Any slime users want to tell me if there's actually a 15-hour battery life? That's crazy. And slime also has a very active community. The slime community is super active. I don't know why. Like, I don't know why. I guess all the supportive people, all the hackers, they all congregated in Slime VR, and they're all doing a great job at, just making it better every single day. And another pro is that it uses Wi-Fi. Like, that's really cool. Like, I'm kind of jealous. Like, my Haritora, it uses Bluetooth. So when I want to use Haritora downstairs with my desktop, which is upstairs, I literally bought like a 30-foot or like a 50-foot Bluetooth cable. Not like it sounds crazy. I bought a 30-foot Bluetooth cable and a 30-foot USB cable, and I ran it down from the second floor to the first floor. And then I stuck my Bluetooth dongle in there, and that's how I'm using Haritora on the first floor with my desktop on the second floor. So, but if it was a Wi-Fi system, I wouldn't have to do this. And Slime VR is a Wi-Fi system, so that's really cool. And another thing about Slime VR is you can make it yourself. And I know people who made it themselves, and I think that, wow, they must be really good with their hands. I would never make it myself. And here's a weird thing that no one talks about. One of the pros of Slime VR. Here's a weird pro. They raised $2.5 million. $2.5 million in their crowdfunding. So, how should I put this? If, for example, Slime VR was to hit a bump in the road, if maybe Slime VR hit a bump in the road, they have a lot of money to ride out the problems. So, my point is that, like, they're not vaporware, right? They should not be vaporware. They should be supported, and they should support you for a long time because their crowdfunding reached $2.5 million. So, yeah, that's like a kind of a safety of going Slime rather than other companies. Just something I thought about. Brick says it's true. My slimes have 15 hours battery life. Wow. I wonder how they do that. Nonpondo says the documentation is the best documentation that he's ever seen. That is interesting. I'll have to check out the documentation because let me tell you, the documentation for the Haritora, it was written by a Japanese man, and he was not very good at English. He spoke English as a second language. Yeah. In fact, I ended up using the Japanese instructions. So, yeah, that sounds like a really good that sounds like a really good pro for the Slime VR team if their documentation is really good. So that's nice. Nanpando says it has schematics for every config of IMUs they support. It has schematics. What the hell? Niku says there's a catch. If you live in an apartment, the poor Wi-Fi coverage in an apartment, it might hurt you. So you need really good Wi-Fi apparently for this, for the slimes. You need reliable Wi-Fi. Makes sense. Okay, let's talk about cons of Slime VR. Cons. So, you know, they drift. Slime VRs, they drift multiple times per hour, right? I've heard some claims that like, oh, you can wear slimes for 2 hours and they won't drift. I'm like, okay. So I have no proof. I've never used slimes, but just thinking about it logically, there's no way you can use it for 2 hours and they can't drift, okay? Because my Haritora wired, which is, you know, it's a wired system. Everything's connected through physical wires, so it should drift the least out of all these options. I have to calibrate that a couple times an hour. So there's no way slimes where it's like multiple wireless systems that they can last for 2 hours. It's just not possible. And speaking of the slime sensors, they are super, super finicky, right? I've read things that like these slime sensors, they get affected by temperature. What the fuck? Your full body trackers are affected by temperature, and you have to calibrate them based on a certain temperature. And then you have to change the temperature manually yourself. Like, what's going on, okay? What's going on? If I'm buying a full body tracking system, I want to dance, I want to sleep, I want to sit in a chair, and that should be the end of it, right? I'm not trying to like take a hair dryer or like a blowtorch or put my trackers in the freezer just to have like, you know, like basic operation, right? I don't know. That is one I consider that a big negative for these slimes. They're affected by temperature. And also, one of the ways to do the quick calibrate of a slime, like remember I told you the quick calibrate for Haritora, after it drifts, you just go click 5 times. Well, one of the ways to quick calibrate for the slime is you tap on your chest tracker twice. So you tap on your chest tracker twice, and it's supposed to recognize that that's the signal to quick calibrate. Except sometimes it doesn't recognize the signal. Sometimes you're tapping it twice, nothing happens. Sometimes you punch yourself in the chest twice. The quick calibrate is finicky. So yeah, I just want to bring this up as a con that like it's kind of a hacked together system. You know, it has some issues. It has some, you know, unreliable parts. That's all. Definitely, you know, hacker tier, hacker man. And another big con is that they're very hard to receive, right? Like some people, they ordered in 2021 and they got them like last month. Some people got them last month and some people are still waiting, right? And a lot of people who ordered in 2021 who got their kits, they ordered the DIY kit, right? So like nothing is assembled, right? So that means that some of the people who receive their slimes, it's not actual slime. It's a bag of electronic components that you have to still put together. So I would say that for the vast majority of people, 2, almost 3 years have passed, and they don't have anything. They don't have shit. They just got their money taken and they're waiting. So yeah. And the reason for this is that they can't get the certification, right? Like the way it works in America is that if you want to sell a device that sends out like radio signals, you have to get it certified. And that's what they're stuck on, right? The shipment they sent out, it's currently being held up in American Customs, and they are trying to get it recertified and then out of American Customs. So yeah, I'm just saying. And this is people who ordered like way back. Now imagine if you're ordering right now. Imagine if you're ordering right now in late 2023 or maybe early 2024. Like how much longer are you gonna have to wait? Kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. I said a lot of good things about the slime, but I don't know if I would buy them directly from the makers because you might have to wait a long time. Now, what some people are doing is that since the official makers are taking their sweet time, there's like third-party people who are making their own versions, and they'll sell it they'll sell it to you. And a lot of these guys, they're in Russia, they're in Brazil, they're in wherever, right? So it's kind of like, kind of like an underground kind of like a marketplace kind of thing. And yeah. Anyway, some of these people, they do make good slime VRs, so you can buy from them. And if for some reason that your custom slime VR tracker made by Ivan from Russia or Pedro from Brazil, if for some reason that it sucks, well, too bad. There's no refunds, right? There's no refunds from Vladimir or Joao. I'm just saying. So Slime VR, I think it's a great project. I think it's a great product. I think it's a great idea, but actually buying it and getting it in your hand, it just seems difficult. It's not as easy. It's nowhere near as easy as the other options. So yeah. And if you're wondering about the price is only $165 for the cheapest version. Although I would recommend the 190 version as a better starting point. I feel like the 165 is like, it's like less accurate or something. It has something wrong with it. The $165 version is something is fucked up. But the 190 version, it seems like a good starting point, and that's why they call it the core set. Oh shit. And that's why I'm putting Slime in the B tier. Lots of great things to say about Slime, but and great tracking as well. But some things are keeping it down. Okay, let's read chat. I talked for a long time. Let's read chat. Non-Pondo and Niku. They're saying that, sometimes temperature is a thing, sometimes temperature isn't. Depends on the IMU. You may or may not need to do the temperature thing. Well, yeah. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's finicky. It's finicky. It's not like brain dead. And, that's great if you're a tinkerer. And I know that some of you guys, like Non-Pondo, is definitely a tinkerer. But think about the average person. Think about the average end user. Think about me, okay? Can you think about me for a second? I don't want to tinker about anything, right? Like just like wearing the tracker is like hard work for me, right? There are times when I'm so lazy I don't even want to wear my Haritora tracker. That's how lazy I am. And you want me to tinker? Forget it. So Brick Wallerson says you can change the amount of taps and you can turn it off. Yeah, you can change your like shortcuts and hotkeys. But what I'm trying to say is that like since it's so many types of configurations and some people are even buying them from third-party makers that some of these shortcuts are not working for some people. Yeah. Some of these shortcuts and they're important shortcuts, right? It's your recalibration shortcut. This should never fail. Your quick recalibration shortcut, it should never ever fail, in my opinion. And that's a big con, I think, in the Vive or the Slime world. Non-Pondo says, I'm a software dev. I don't have any empathy. Oh, is that how it is? All right, good to know. Next, let's talk about the favorite. Everyone's favorite. We are going to talk about Kinect. I did a whole write-up on Kinect, which is kind of weird because I didn't consider Kinect as a serious contender. In my head, Kinect was always a dumb toy. I thought if you used Kinect, you were probably the dumbest person on earth, right? If you used Kinect, you probably flunked out of the 5th grade. I'm just saying. That was my thoughts. But, I gave it another chance, and I was like, someone brought something to my attention. He said that Kinect has infinite battery life, and it's always on. You understand? And that is a big thing because even me, like sometimes I forget to charge my controllers. So when I want to play, I can't play because I forgot to charge it. So the Kinect having infinite battery life, I think that's a great plus. And Kinect cameras, they're also cheap. Now you could say that like, oh, the Kinect USB cord. The Kinect needs a special USB cord and it's $30, $35. Maybe. Possibly. But the Kinect itself is like free, or the Kinect itself is like $15, something like that. So overall, like $50 for satisfactory tracking, right? I don't think it's a bad value proposition, right? You can't turn around, you can't lay down, You probably can't sit down either. But, you know, you paid from $0 to $50. And you can stand and you can move and dance. I think that's a great value proposition for $50 or less. I don't know. I had my mind changed on Kinect recently. That's all I'll say. A certain someone changed my mind. Now, as for some cons, like obviously you can't turn around, you can't lay down, and I was told that it has trouble capturing the hips, which makes sense. You know, it's more of like a hands and feet and head type of system. So yeah, you can't gyrate your hips. And I think the biggest con is that kind of unexpected, but it prefers a deep play space. It wants its view to be deep. So between you and the wall behind you, you need some space, and not everyone has that. So that's a big con. You need a very specific play space. But at the end of the day, if you had an Xbox 360 or an Xbox One lying around, and you have a Kinect lying around, this is a super cheap way to get into the full body tracking game, and it works better than a lot of the options on this list, right? Like we talked about Haritora Wired. Sorry. We talked about Haritora and Slime being like blind systems. Like they don't know what the fuck is happening. They're just going off their own acceleration and rotation. Well, Kinect is a not blind system. Kinect is a system with vision. It literally sees your body and it makes a pose based on that. So yeah, I don't know. Not bad for $0 to $50. Anyway. Thanks for opening my eyes up to Kinect. And okay, next one. Let's talk about the Haritora Wireless. Okay, Haritora Wireless. Ideally, it has the same good tracking, satisfactory tracking as the Haritora Wired and the Slime. And they boast a 20-hour-long battery life. That's pretty cool. And the Haritora Wired, it was like a mess. It was a mess of Velcro. It was so bad. But the Haritora Wireless, it's just some buckles, right? Just some simple buckles. They advertise that each tracker takes 2 seconds to equip on your body. And of course, it uses the same good software as the Haritora Wired. I love the software. And it uses Bluetooth. And one thing you guys didn't know is that the company Shiftall, they're owned by Panasonic, right? So I talked about like being careful of companies that can like take your money and run, like stonks, or being careful of companies that can like, you know, disappear out of nowhere. Well, Shiftall, the makers of Haritora, they're owned by Panasonic. So I think they have a lot of funding. So that's nice. But one big con of the Haritora Wireless is that it doesn't fucking work, apparently. All my friends who have it, multiple friends who bought it, they are having a lot of problems with the tracking. It's just not responsive, or it'll turn and get stuck so you can't turn back. Like, every single person I know that has the Haritora Wireless, which was a hyped up product, people were looking forward to this for like a year, right? People were forgoing the Haritora Wired to wait 1 year for the wireless. They were waiting, and it apparently it just doesn't work. It's just really, really bad. So yeah, it's hard for me to say anything good about it. I tried my best to say good things about it. Now, the company Shiftall, they have a record of improving their software and improving their products. And they plan to release a dedicated dongle. Like right now, the Haritora Wireless uses a Bluetooth. And maybe one of the problems for the issues, one of the causes of the issues, is that maybe Bluetooth can't handle all these dongles all at once, right? Maybe it just can't. That's certainly how it works for the Vive, right? The Vive, you get 1 dongle per tracker. Haritora Wireless, you're getting at least 5 dongles at least 5 trackers into 1 dongle. So yeah. That's all the cope I can give. Maybe they will make it better, and maybe their new dongle will make it better. But as of right now, they are just horrible, and I can't recommend it. So yeah, this is going in C or D. C if they improve it, D if they don't. Just put it in D. And put it in C. Put it in C. Put it in C. Put it in C because C is empty. Jesse asks, what's your thoughts on the Varjo Aero? with a price cut of down to 990. I've seen it for 900 actually. I don't know. Not really my thing. I'm a VRChat only player. Well, actually, recently I'm gonna try to get into Skyrim VR. I don't know. I just want to like stab people in the virtual world. But yeah, either way, I don't think Varjo is the way for me because it's too big, way too big, way too heavy. I don't know. That's all I'll say about it. It's not for me. Maybe if you like to get, maybe for people who like to sit down and have like seated experiences, where they need a lot of FOV, that's good for them. But I really don't care about FOV, and I love to stand up in virtual reality. I do not like to sit down in virtual reality. I love to stand up. I love to emote. I've done what? There's like VRChat boxing. I've done VRChat boxing. So, you know, and it was fun. I'll never sit down. If I'm in VR, I ain't sitting down. I'm standing up, I'm dancing, I'm fighting, and I'm sword fighting. That's just how it is. And that's why I'm getting the big screen beyond. Oh yeah. Perfect for standing experiences. Let's talk about the OWO Track. OWO Track is this like app for your phone. It turns your phone into like a slime tracker basically. Let's put it in layman's terms. It turns any spare phone you have into a slime tracker. So for all the software engineers in chat, let me know if what I'm saying sounds weird. For all the laymen in chat, like, is it a good idea to use your phone as a slime tracker? Is that even a good idea? And the answer is, it is a great idea, because phones have very, very accurate motion tracking, right? Like if you ever use your phone during Google Maps or for another app where you had to like, you know, rotate your phone or like move it around, it's pretty accurate. And now you can use that accuracy for full body tracking. So I think that OWO Track, I think it's a great way to get full body tracking, especially if you have old phones. Well, we all have old phones, don't we? But some cons is like, you know, obviously if you don't have any old phones, you cannot use this. And my biggest con of it is like, how do you attach it to your body? You know, like you need to attach this to your waist. How are you attaching your phone to your waist and getting it to stay there, right? Now, I'm not saying it's impossible. It's not. It's very easy. It's very possible. I'm just saying you got to do some research. You got to do some thinking. You got to use some brain cells. And, you know, I don't know. I'm not a fan. Like, I do have a DIY strap, but all I did was I drove a screw through a belt. So how are you going to attach a Samsung, S23? How are you going to stick it to your waist and make it stay? How are you going to stick a Samsung Galaxy Note to your feet and make them stay there, right? Obviously, it's not possible, but, you know, it's just something to think about. Anyway, OWO Track, this sort of stuff, it's just way too hacky for me. But, you know, it works well. And the cool thing is you can combine it with other systems. But, yeah, I would put OWO Track in the C tier. You know, it's a thing. It exists. You'll never catch me using it, but, you know, it's a thing. What do you guys think? Byron says get a big belt. Exactly. Get a big belt for your Galaxy Note Tab 2023. Then you're good. Brick says you can put the phone in your waistband. The waistband in your pants? Okay, well, you know, it's going to move though. You can't just put a phone into your waistband. It's going to move. Are you guys fat as fuck? Like you just put a phone in your waistband, it'll never move? I don't understand. If I put my phone into my waistband, right, between my belly button and my underwear, and I started dancing, and I started boxing, or I started fencing, it's gonna move. It's gonna fly away. If you tie your pants tight enough, it won't move. I see. I don't believe you, but I see. I don't know. I move around way too much. You got to see the way I play VRChat. I'm like a child. I'm like a toddler. I'm literally like tumbling around when I play VRChat. I have autism. Let's talk about anything using webcam, anything using Joy-Cons Wiimote. It's just D tier. Look, guys, we're not on the topic of things being too hacky. Look, guys, I'm not very intelligent. Okay, I'm not here to like invent the next SpaceX rocket. You understand? I don't know how the hell to use a webcam. I don't know how the hell to use Joy-Cons or Driver 4 VR. to get your homegrown DIY tracking. Okay? It's too much work, and I don't care, right? I'm a very, very busy adult. I have a high-paying Wall Street job, and the time spent, like, tinkering with this shit, you understand? Because this stuff doesn't work out the box. You have to tinker. The time spent tinkering, I can be out there making money, paper. Okay, I can be out there making stock options. Do you understand? So, anything with the webcam, driver for VR, repurposing game controllers, something, it's in the D tier, and that's how it is for most people. And it seems that most of the audience of the stream right now is hacker types, and that's fine. It's fine to be a hacker, but you must realize you're in the extreme minority. You must know this. You are in the 1% of the 1% of the 1%. The rest of us, we want to just buy the product, we want to spend on the product, and then we want to go home to our wives. Okay? So anything hacky, like if I see the URL github.com, no, not happening. Not visiting. Not installing. Tab closed. Tab closed, blocked in the host file if I see github.com. And that's just how it is. Okay? If you disagree, sorry. If you disagree, leave my stream. Standable. I was a big hater of Standable because it was coded by a high school kid. Oops. It was coded by a high school kid. And, you know, I hate children. Children are just not very smart. And children, they're not strong either. So why would I ever listen to a child, or what, you know, why would I ever like take a child seriously, right? Because not only can they not outthink me, but I can beat them up, right? There's no instance where like a child is able to overpower me. Like, no. One hand behind my back. I can slam the child into a ball pit. So that's why I was very negative on the Standable. But, you know, and then I met someone actually using Standable, and it seemed fine, right? I think it seemed fine. It was more accurate than I thought it would be. Like when the person using the Standable, when he crouched down, it crouched down. When he tried to lay down, it laid down. It did what it was supposed to do. And, you know, if you want to crouch or sit or lay down in VRChat and you only have a Quest and you don't want to buy another product, physical product, then Standable will let you do that. It will let you lay down. But for me personally, I think the ticket to entry is too expensive. I think $20 is too expensive. I think it should be free, right? There's so much like free full body tracking out there. Why is this $20? Okay? And if it's not free, make it like 5 something, 3, 20. That's kind of insane. I don't know. Right? This is why I say kids are stupid. They don't have wisdom. And they're selfish. You just know that if like I don't know, some like 30, 40-year-old like software engineer guy, like one of you guys in chat, if one of you guys made Standable, I think it would have been free. It would have been free on GitHub, right? Standable. I honestly believe so. But, you know, I hate that it's $20. Because like I said, Kinect is under $50. Slime is $190 for the core set. And, you know, it actually tracks your body. It's not just like, you know, fucking like imaginary tracking. But for all intents and purposes, you know, Standable is a thing. I would put it in D+ or C-. I'll be nice today. See, I'm an adult, so I'll have mercy on him. But, you know, Standable, it does what it says it does. And the results are accurate to the description. Yes. It's not false advertising. That's the best thing I can say about it. It does what it says on the wrapper. Yep. Moving on. I don't know, just the value proposition. I would much rather get like, you know, Kinect or Slime. I don't know. If you're dumping double-digit money anyway. I don't know. That's what I think. Am I wrong? Let's read chat. Brick says you got to get the bag. You know, there's more important things in life than money. You understand? The bag? Yes, the bag is important. I do understand. We all need money to eat. We need money to have a roof over our heads. But at a certain point, you know, money is the root of all evil. And I really yearn for a society in which we just abolish money. We have to live in a society that just doesn't have money. That's the ideal, right? We don't need it. It just causes conflict. So, yeah. In my ideal society, it would work like this. So, let's say there's a no cash society, no money society, and I want to get like a new full body tracker. Well, what would happen is I would find a person who enjoys making full body tracking, and then I would find another person who enjoys like programming full body tracking, and then I would say, hey, you guys work together because you like to do it and you would do it anyway for free. You guys work together, and then when you make the full body tracking product, just let me have it because you like to do it anyway. So you would do it out of goodwill anyway. So and I want it. So you should just let me have it. And that's what I'm saying. That's why we need like a money free society, because then people could just truly do what they like to do. Not just like what they have to do to survive. And I think that with all this AI, we can definitely be closer to the moneyless society, and or perhaps if not moneyless, at least some sort of universal basic income. Basically, a society where you don't need to work. I do think that AI will unlock this, and this is definitely the ideal society that we can live in, and it's feasible. Especially my full body tracking story of how to get it. That's feasible. What do you guys think? Let's talk about the Mocopi. Okay, Mocopi. So yeah, this was Sony's big thing. They had an entire they had like a huge advertisement for this in VRChat, in Virtual Market it's called. It was a huge advertisement, and I was very excited for it. I was like, wow, I'm an idiot for buying Haritora wired. I should have waited for the Mocopi. I'm so fucking stupid. And then the Mocopi came out, and it just doesn't even work. This thing is so bad. It doesn't even work. And it was never even made for VRChat anyway. As a Japanese speaker, Mocopi was designed for VTubing on a phone, right? So Sony was all in on the metaverse, or they wanted a piece of the metaverse at least. They would have liked to profit from the metaverse, and they said, okay, VTubers are a thing, and virtual reality is a thing, and mobile is a thing, right? People are going from desktop to mobile, so they said, okay, we're gonna let people do full body VTubing from a mobile phone. So when you try to use the Mocopi with VRChat, it's like fitting a square peg into a round hole. It wasn't really meant for VRChat, and that's one of the reasons why it was so extremely buggy with VRChat at the start. And yeah, it's still really bad, and I believe it costs $450 at least, and it's just unusable. And they did release a beta version. They have the beta Mocopi driver, because the way Mocopi works is that I think it's like chest. It's some crazy shit. Anyway, Mocopi, it puts two sensors on your wrists. It puts two of the sensors on your wrist. 2 out of 6 sensors, they go in your wrist. But that's redundant for VRChat because you have your controllers to track your hands. So what they're doing is that they're allowing you to move your wrist trackers to your legs. So you have 4 trackers total for your legs, and that like makes it better. Yeah. But that's the theory, and that's in the beta tracker, and the beta driver is not available for you and me, right? It's only available for people such as Thrillseeker. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is vaporware. I feel like this product flopped, as many Sony products do. So yeah, Mocopi, I'm sorry, but you go into D tier. There's not a single good thing I can say about Mocopi, besides maybe it's light, right? I guess it's light and it's attaches using buckles, but like, okay, it's a light piece of shit. Yeah, Byron says Mocopi was created for VTubers to do parkour. Yeah, like if you watch the advertisements for around Mocopi, it was all like people running outside with their phones. Like they're outside, they're doing yoga, they're jumping, they're flipping, they're running, and then transferring that data into a VTuber model, a VRM model, and then streaming that. That was the selling point, right? Like if you buy Mocopi, you can also go outside and then dance and then stream your outside dance performance. It's like, who wants to do that? Who the hell asked for that, right? Who the hell said that I need to go outside right now and I need to put on a parkour performance with full body trackers on outside right now, and I need to stream it from my phone using the body of an anime girl. Like, I don't know. It's, you have to wonder, like, who pushed this idea through, going from the design phase into the product release and shipping phase? It's like, bro. Byron calls it a niche use case. I would say it's the nichest of nichest use cases. Like, I don't know. It's a disaster, and anyway. I just wanted to put it up here because I've always hated Mocopi, and now I can finally talk about it. Final one is the Vive Ultimate Tracker. The Vive Ultimate Tracker. Oh, do I have to say it? It's in the S tier. Listen, you don't need any base stations. It just uses cameras to detect the world, and just by using some camera data, it has perfect tracking. You don't need to do anything else. You just put them on, and it's perfect. You don't need to drill any holes in your wall. Like me personally, when I installed my base stations, I used an electric drill for the first time. I had never touched an electric drill before, and I bought one from Amazon, and I didn't know what I was doing, and I installed the screws wrong. If you look at my base stations right now, like the screw is sticking out of the hole. The screw can't go in all the way because I messed up. I don't know how to use a drill. And the fact that the Vive Ultimate Tracker, you don't need to use any tools, that's great. I think it's great. And if you don't need to use base stations, then, unlike the Vive trackers, regular trackers, you can use these with the Quest 3 and the Pico 5. What a great thing to look forward to, right? It's like investing in the future. However, there's one thing here. Actually, this is a bait. I really don't believe in the Vive Ultimate Tracker, right? Like, they're promising magic. Do you understand? They're promising magic. Like, how can it work with just cameras? It boggles my mind. Like, base stations make sense to me. Base stations are always sending out signals, and then the trackers react to the signal, and then the trackers talk to the dongle. Like, it makes sense, right? It's triangulation, right? Triangulation is a concept that only smart people know about, but it easily explains the base stations, and as well as and regarding the Haritora and the slime, those use IMUs, and those are very easy to understand. They're basically like gyroscopes, right? It could not be easier to understand how Haritora and slime work if you've ever held a phone once in your life, or a Wiimote or a Joy-Con, whatever. It's very easy to understand. But the Vive Ultimate Tracker, like, how does that even work? What are they promising, And this isn't the first time that Vive or, HTC or whoever, they promise some, like, magic product in VR and it just, like, sucks. You understand? I don't know. Like, how the hell is it going to work? What if your room is messy? What if your room is fucking messy? What if you have, like, clothes and boxes and bookshelves and, like, dressers and TVs and monitors? How the hell is this going to work? I don't know. And everyone's room is different. And what if you move from the floor to your chair to your bed? Like, are you going to have... Like, one way camera-based systems work is you draw a boundary, right? You draw a boundary of your play space. That's how the Quest 2 works. Are we going to have to draw boundaries? I don't know. Makes sense. It would make sense. And by the way, boundaries are one of the worst features of Quest 2. God, I hate boundaries. I disabled it myself. Yeah. I got a developer account and I disabled the boundaries. So yeah, I have no confidence in the Ultimate Trackers. And in addition, each one is going to be $200 minimum. You think about Tundras and Vives, they are $130 each. And the Vive Ultimate Tracker is $200. I don't know. I think, classic technology pump and dump. Classic technology Ponzi scheme, over-promising. Try to get people to pre-order. Try to get people to, buy in. Here's the thing. I'm too smart. Sid is too smart. He's not going to be so easily tricked. It's not Sid's first rodeo. He's been burned many times before. He's fell off the bull. Sid's fell off the raging bull multiple times. You can't trick me again. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. Well, you're gonna regret that you fooled me twice. That's how it works. So yeah, regarding this camera-based inside-out tracking, I've got zero hopes. It just reminds me of Mocopi. Mocopi seemed like so cool when I first saw their official booth within VRChat. I was like, wow, I want this. They had a slick website too. I was on their website like refreshing every day, like, oh my god, let me have it now. Nah, it was a failure.
Tell me what you want.